Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to continue looking at the physical features of Latin America, and the specific type we're looking at today are mountains. So we have a list of these major mountain systems that are in the Latin American region. Some of them are in Mexico, Central American area, others are in South America itself. So let's start with the first one. We're in the country of Mexico. You can see the United States right here, the state of Texas. So we're in the country of Mexico. And both the eastern and the western coasts of Mexico have two large mountain ranges. We have the Sierra Madre Occidental and the Sierra Madre Oriental. Sierra is a Spanish word for mountain. So that's an indicator when you see the word Sierra, see Sierra Madre del Sur, then we're looking at mountain systems. Now, these mountains, they're fairly tall, but they're not quite like the Rocky Mountains. The Rocky Mountains in the United States are over 14,000 feet high. These ones only rise over 10,000 feet, which compared to the mountains we have in Pennsylvania are still pretty tall mountains. What I want to point out is this actually affects population in Mexico, affects where people live. You have two large mountain systems. And so what we know is people do not tend to live in those areas that are mountainous areas. Well, if you go to this northern part of Mexico, it's a lot of dry, desert-like area. But Mexico does have a bigger population. Where does it live? In this area. It's called the Plateau of Mexico. So there's an area between those two mountains that a large portion of Mexico's population lives. In fact, the capital city of Mexico City is in that area. And Mexico City is one of the biggest cities in the world. Talking about Mexico City, there's one mountain in particular that's kind of interesting. It's a super tall mountain, over 17,000 feet high. And it's not just any ordinary mountain, it is a volcanic mountain. And there are lots of volcanic mountains throughout Central America and down into South America. But this one is pretty active. In fact, the last time it erupted was just this past January. Well, why is this one such an important one? Well, remember we talked about Mount Rainier in the United States being a potentially dangerous, deadly volcano because it was near an area of high population? Well, Popocatépetl is also near that area of high population. It is close to Mexico City. So you can see an area of a lot of people with Popocatépetl in the background. It has not had a large, dangerous eruption recently, but it has still had volcanic activity.
Why would anyone want to live near an active volcano? For many of the residents of San Pedro Benito Juárez, a small town nestled at the foot of Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano, it's the only way of life they know. Over the past few weeks, however, the mountain has been acting a little strange. Large explosions have forced massive plumes of volcanic ash 7,000 meters into the air. At night, bursts of fragmented lava have lit up the sky and covered the steep slopes of the mountain in a glowing blanket of molten rock.
The whole mountain was glowing. Then the forest caught fire.
The recent increase in moderately explosive eruptions, however, hasn't changed day-to-day life. Farmers still tend to their fields, and children still go to school. At a monitoring station that tracks seismic activity around the volcano, disaster relief workers say their biggest challenge would be convincing people to evacuate.
This is a volcano that people are used to living with. It's a volcano that was here before people arrived and began to settle.
Mexico's Popocatépetl ranks among the most dangerous volcanoes in the world, not because of its potential for explosive eruptions, but because of how many people choose to live so close to the mountain. San Pedro Benito Juárez has a population of about 5,000 people, most of them ethnic Nahuatl, who have made their home in the shadow of the volcano for generations. Popocatépetl is a Nahuatl word meaning smoking mountain, and in recent weeks the volcano really has been living up to its namesake. But even though locals here tell us that volcanic activity has been calming down, authorities have yet to reduce the threat level, saying everyone should be aware of the evacuation routes in the event of a truly explosive eruption. Despite the warnings from authorities, nobody in this town seems fazed by the threat of this very active volcano at their backs.
We're not worried. I see nothing is going to happen. Then again, who knows?
The people of San Pedro Benito Juarez do understand the risks, but they tell us their livelihoods depend on the rich farmlands the volcano provides, and say they would actually be more afraid if they no longer had their smoking mountain. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera, Puebla, Mexico.
All right, so one of the trade-offs they said, they recognize that Popocatépetl presents a danger, but living by a volcano also provides some benefit, because the volcanic activity actually makes the soil around it very fertile. And they said in the video they depend upon that rich farmland to make their living. Another volcano in Mexico is Citlaltépetl. And this one is actually an inactive volcano. But this one is the tallest mountain in Mexico. Not the tallest mountain in Latin America, but it's the tallest mountain in all of Mexico, over 18,000 feet high. Moving on to a mountain range, the Andes Mountains. The Andes Mountains are the longest mountains in the world. So as far as a mountain range, they extend more miles than any other mountain range in the world. So it goes along the whole west coast of South America, which stretches for about 4,300 miles. Now, the tallest mountains in the world are in Asia. The Himalayan mountains are the tallest mountains in the world. But if we leave the Asian continent, the tallest mountain range on any of the other 6 continents is the Andes Mountains. And you have mountains, again, well over 20,000 feet in the Andes Mountains. So the Andes Mountains, you can see, they stretch along that whole western coast of South America. The tallest mountain in Latin America is this one, Aconcagua. And Aconcagua is over 22,000 feet high and is found in the country of Argentina. So, at this point, that takes us through the major mountains of Latin America. Go back into Google Classroom, check on your homework assignment with this. Hopefully you have all of your notes for this section filled out with this video. We'll see you next time.